So there are a few things that you're going to want to know before moving to South Jersey. In fact, today we're going to talk about where to live in South Jersey, all that you need to know. Let's do it. Hi, I'm Kat Quarterman, team leader of the Quarterman Group, powered by Compass. If this is your first time to this channel, you're going to want to make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you're notified each and every time a new video is uploaded. This is the place where you can get everything about South Jersey, what it's like to eat, sleep, drink, play in South Jersey. We get so many calls, and today's focus is actually going to be about some of the things that you need to know before moving to South Jersey. And it all came from the calls that we get from people just like you who are looking to relocate to South Jersey. So make sure that you hit us up if you're thinking about making a move, and we'll be sure to help you make your move as easy as possible. Let's get started. So one thing that I've realized is that if you're thinking about relocating and you're thinking about South Jersey, there are some things that you need to know before you get your search ready. One is you need to kind of know why you're moving to South Jersey. You can't make the move unless you know sort of like why. Are you moving because you have a new job here? Are you moving because you have friends and family that you're trying to get close to? All I can say is that if you don't have a job yet that you're going to be working at when you move to South Jersey, then you definitely need to do some planning. So you do need to save up some money. I can't say that South Jersey is like New York City where you could dance at the corner with a cup and people are gonna just give you enough money where you could actually pay rent and live off of it. You do need to have some type of job. However, we'll go over some jobs that you can do, or my thoughts on the land that we have here in South Jersey that'll make your life a little bit easier when you're trying to supplement or just, have some money in your pocket as you're still looking for a job or looking for a permanent position. So you need to have a reason on why you're moving. You also need to have an idea of the kind of lifestyle you want. Are you the kind of person that likes complete quietness? Do you want to hear the birds chirping and the frogs, making noise, the crickets and things like that? Or do you want a little bit more of the city life? Do you want to have a nightlife? Do you want to be near public transportation or near a hospital due to health reasons? You kind of need to know a little bit about the lifestyle that you want to live. So take a second to kind of dream a little bit about that. It's also important to have a car here in South Jersey, or at least to be able to get to public transportation. Remember, in South Jersey, public transportation doesn't run as quite often as it may in a city. So I've been getting a lot of calls from people in New York who are looking to relocate to South Jersey, and some of them don't drive. And that's fine, right? Because when I lived in New York, I can run out and catch the bus. If I missed it, if it just went by, I knew the next one was right behind it. That's not the same here in South Jersey. It runs on a schedule. So you need to kind of know, all right, am I going to learn how to drive? Am I going to get a license? Am I going to be able to get a car? Because at some point, it may just become too expensive to Uber everywhere. And it also comes down to, like, if you're not going to work in South Jersey and you're still going to commute into New York, Philadelphia, some people even come from Delaware for work, then there are certain areas that may make your commute a little bit easier. So, and those areas are, I did make my little cheat notes. So those areas are, if you're looking to stay in Burlington County, more like northern Burlington, makes a great place if you're trying to commute back and forth from New York City. So places like Florence, Roebling. Now, some of those areas may not be directly right off of a main highway, but it is still considered northern Burlington and may make your commute a little bit easier. If you come down to southern Burlington, where you are closer to like exit 5 off the New Jersey Turnpike, then all of those towns where you're talking about Burlington Township, Willingboro, Hainesport, Lumberton, West Hampton, East Hampton, Mount Holly, that makes it a very easy commute to get right onto the New Jersey Turnpike and head, whether it's north to New York City or further south. You can also look at living in like any areas off of like Route 130 or 206. That also makes it a little bit easier to get to the Turnpike or to 295, which runs parallel to the New Jersey Turnpike. If you're looking to commute into Philadelphia or just over into Pennsylvania, you may want to look at Burlington Township as well. You have Burlington City, you have Hainesport, Mount Laurel, Mount Holly, Moorestown. It's so many areas that you can get right over to any one of the bridges. Cherry Hill, Voorhees, Somerdale, anywhere in Burlington or even in Camden County would be easily accessible to any one of the bridges to get over into Pennsylvania. So you do have to have an idea of like, where are you trying to commute to, whether it's for nightlife or for work, and those towns that are a little bit easier of a commute. You also want to consider that there are some towns which I call them more like rural, but of course they're still suburbs. But rural in a sense where you're getting more land, there aren't any street lights, still a little bit of dirt roads that you need to travel into, and not very close or easily accessible to a major highway. So like Pemberton, Browns Mills, those are closer to the base, the Joint Base in Fort Dix, but they are not that easily accessible. Like if you needed to commute to New York City, or further south Jersey, you could get on 206 and that'll lead you, straight down into Atlantic City if you wanted, to get somewhere down there. But it is not easily accessible when you're commuting to like New York or to Pennsylvania. Your commute is going to be a little bit longer. However, if you're looking for that living where it's a little bit more what I consider rural, more land, quiet, no street lights, some possible dirt roads, then that will be a great area for you. When it comes to public transportation, you also want to consider all of the towns that are connected with the light rail. So that's, it goes through Burlington, even down to some parts of Camden County, down to Cherry Hill. And the light rail makes it a great commute. Sometimes people may park their car, at one station, jump on the light rail, take it to New Jersey Transit and commute that way. Or maybe, they need to just go somewhere along the light rail and they stay on it. The other public transportation modes that are in South Jersey, depending on where you're going to live at, you also have the AC line, the River Line, PATCO as well, New Jersey Transit, that can take you into different parts of New Jersey and also into the bigger cities. So I had mentioned before that South Jersey is not really the area where you can come without savings until you find, a permanent position or a job or get yourself started. If you are an entrepreneur, it is really a place where you need to have a job. So I'm suggesting that before you make your move into South Jersey, that you try to use your network or network online to find a job. I think we could all say that in this day and age, it's not just about submitting your resume online and landing a job. A lot of it is about networking. So it's a lot about who you know and who they know, and if you have the skill set. So definitely use a professional resume builder, someone who can take your skills and see how they could be transferable to different kinds of jobs. So you may want to have different resumes, depending on the kind of jobs that you're applying for. Different jobs that I've seen people in South Jersey sort of supplement their income. I don't know if they make it like a full-time thing, but definitely we have Uber Eats, anything that delivers, DoorDash, that delivers food. You got Amazon delivery. We have a couple of different Amazon centers. So I know quite a few people who work at Amazon, who do the packaging and the delivery as well. You can also do tutoring services. What I found is that in South Jersey, it's the land of entrepreneurship. There's many people that have side gigs or they're permanent gigs, but they definitely hustle to make it a full-time living. So whether it's dog grooming, dog sitting, tutoring, what else? They do personal care services for the elderly. They sort of make it a full-time job. So another thing, lots of people talk about school systems, right? They want a great school system, you know, or they don't want to live in a town that they found out it doesn't have a great school system. One thing that I want to say is that a school system is, I'm not going to say it's subjective because it's not. Of course, you can find data on the different, you know, public websites that tell you about the test scores and kind of determine whether that's a school for your child. But what I do know is that as a parent, you have to be active with your children today and with what your children are learning in school. I just don't see it as the same of when I grew up. I don't think my parents were, you know, I don't remember them tutoring or helping me with anything, but yet I learned everything. I think today, I don't know if it's the student-teacher ratio when you're in the public school system, but you do have to be active with your children just to make sure that they're learning. And if they're not, that they are utilizing the resources available to them so that way they can retain and learn the information. So having said all of that, you can definitely look on different websites such as niche.com. That'll tell you about the different schools. And to determine whether it's a good school system, it's not just what do they have on these websites, but it's also looking at the reviews of what other students have said about the school. It's also looking at the test scores. It's also looking at where the kids go after they leave that school. So that way you can decide if it's a good school for your children. And one may be a good school for one child and the other child, it may not be a good fit. So you do have to look into all of that. Most importantly, I say call the schools as well and talk with someone there. I am a big fan of joining different chat groups online, you know, in social media, community groups, so you can get a feel for the community and you can get a feel for the children and the people that live there, you know, and that attend the schools and the activities that you will also be involved in as well. The other topic that comes up a lot is crime. So of course, crime is everywhere, right? However, it may be okay if you lived in an area where they broke into cars, but maybe not in an area where they're murdering people. I don't know, right? You have to make the decision for that. But there are different crime apps that you can check on. A lot of people do check the Neighbor app as well, so that way they can kind of see what's going on. You could definitely check the FBI crime website as well, and the different police, you know, state and local authorities as well, to kind of find out about crime. So that way you can determine if that's an area that you would like to be in. And these are all things that you need to do before you consider moving to South Jersey and picking out a town. It's best that you have a town at least in mind, or know the things that you want or definitely don't want. That's the only way that we can help you. If we're just picking, you know, all of these areas and there's really no reason why we're picking these areas, we are going to miss your home because we're going to be looking all over the place and in places that's not a good fit for you. You also want to consider the job opportunities that are available to where you're moving. There are certain fields that don't really have opportunities that are close by. So you might need to commute to New York City or into Philadelphia for work. And is that okay for you? Do you want that 45-minute commute, you know, or longer each and every day? So consider that as well. You want to consider the real estate taxes and also how much house are you willing to afford? Are you pre-approved for? Are you comfortable paying for? Because that may limit the areas that you can look in as well, or the type of home. Maybe it's not going to give you single family detached, but you'll get semi-detached or a townhome or a condo. So you definitely want to consider all of those things when you're thinking about moving to South Jersey. Whew, that was a mouthful, right? A lot of information to digest. So as you could see, it could be a challenge to try to navigate this process, pick some areas. So the best thing that you could do is reach out to my team and we can help you figure out some areas for you to search in and decide if it's going to be a good fit. You can reach out to us day, weekends, nights, evenings. Remember, we got your back. We're moving to South Jersey.